Yeah. Yeah, that's right, yeah. Well, it's sort of green and bubbly. I mean, that's the best description I can give you. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Wern. Was there a cream for that, or? Oh, okay. Well, so just stay in the cupboard for a bit and it should die down then, yeah? Okay, cool. Well, thanks for your help. Cheers. Hello, welcome back to Raxacorica. I'm Steve and I'm here to talk about everything Doctor Who. First off, you'll be very pleased to know this week that I will be doing some more Dalek build. We're going to move on to the next section. We'll move on to that in a little while. First off, it's a big week in Doctor Who. It is, of course, the 20th anniversary of the modern era. It's 20 years, can you believe it, since Christopher Eccleston and Billie Piper leapt onto our screens and restarted Doctor Who as we know and love it. Fantastic stuff. I can't believe it. I don't know where the time's gone. To celebrate this, Radio Times this week have released 6 different covers, each one showing a different incarnation or a different actor that has held the lead role since 2005. It's got a nice little interview with Russell T Davies, the showrunner, in there, as well as their list of the 20 must-see episodes of the new era. It's an interesting little read. I went and got mine earlier today. I'm not going to collect them all, but it's very nice to have a little souvenir and remember the occasion. So very nice to see. Moving on from that, we've had some cast announcements this week. First off, joining Ncuti and Verada in season 2, we have Cadif Kerwin. Cadif is, of course, star of Chewing Gum, Black Mirror, Slow Horses, Fleabag, the list goes on. He's a very big talent and I'm excited to see what he will bring to the show. Also confirmed this week is actor Freddie Fox. Freddie has, of course, worked with Russell T Davies before on Channel 4 drama Cucumber over 10 years ago. He's also appeared in TV shows The Crown, House of the Dragon and many more. He's a big up-and-coming talent. It's exciting to see what he's going to bring. Russell T Davies has said he comes to Doctor Who with fury, venom, cunning and a beautiful set of horns. Doctor beware. What on earth could it mean? More excitement. Tantalising tidbits from RTD there. Very intriguing. Can't wait to find out more. And another announcement this week. Very exciting to see. The one and only Rylan Clark, TV and radio presenter, winner, of course, of the X Factor and Big Brother Series 11. Rylan's got an enormous amount of energy. I'm very excited to see where this will go. I think he'll fit right in, personally. I can't wait. He's going to be presenting the Interstellar Song Contest. It's one of the episode titles that have dropped this week. I'm going to come to that at a later time. We're just going to go with the cast this week. There's more to talk about before we get to the show on the 12th of April. Kerwin, Freddie and Rylan, of course, adding to a vast list. I'm just reading here. We've got Anita Dobson is back, of course, as Mrs. Flood. The intriguing Mrs. Flood. Will we ever find out who she is and what connection she's got to the Doctor? Anita's a great talent, of course, so I can't wait to find out more. Gemma Redgrave, of course, back with Unit, and Rose Ayling-Ellis, and Bonnie Langford, of course, back as Mel. Can't wait to see what Unit have got in store this time around. And of course, Susan Twist returns for season 2. We thought we'd seen the end of Susan. Clearly there's a lot more to come. Again, exciting times. And of course, I can't forget to mention the one and only Emmy Award winner, Alan Cumming, is going to be starring in this year's Doctor Who. He's going to be playing a cartoon character, Mr. Ring-a-Ding. Looks absolutely terrifying, judging by the trailer that was dropped earlier in the week. If you haven't seen the trailer, I highly recommend doing so. For me, it really looks like they're stepping up the game, so I cannot wait. There's less than a month to go, only 2 or 3 weeks to go. It's very exciting. We will get to more of that next week. This week, of course, I know you're all itching to see more Dalek build. Along with my last delivery came one of the freebies, which is a delightful binder to hold the copies in. I have to say, I hope there's another binder on the way. If there's 140 copies, I don't think they're all going to fit into the one binder. We shall find out. But it's very nice to be able to keep them organised again. So that's great stuff. I'm going to cheat a bit this week. I'll explain more very shortly. But yeah, let's move on to the Dalek build. Let's see how much further we can get with the next issue. I hope you enjoy it. So here we go, guys. Issue 7 of the Dalek Collect and Build from Hachette Partworks. As usual, we've got our box of parts right here that we shall get to shortly. And inside, the usual artwork and articles as we would expect. Lovely stuff. And of course, on the front, we can see a nice little description of the parts that come with this week's issue. Now, as I said, I am actually going to cheat a bit this week. As you can see there, this issue comes with the casing for the energy dispenser. However, it does not come with the screws to attach the energy dispenser. So, cue issue 8. Issue 8 comes with those very screws as seen at the top there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pinch the screws from issue 8 to make sure that issue 7 is well worth the watch. Let's unbox them, let's get them laid out, and let's see what we can do. So guys, here we go. Everything for this week's build laid out for us. We've got, of course, the main construction, the headpiece. We've got the tools required, the handy screwdriver, the handy Allen key. We've got the casing for the energy dispenser and the 3 secret screws from the next issue to make sure we can attach it. We've got the nice shiny metal panel. We've got 3 AP screws, 5 AM screws, nicely packed and labelled as usual, and of course the previous 2 components from previous issues for the energy dispenser. Let's take a look at the first part of the build and see how we can get on. First things first, what we're going to do is we're going to attach this shiny metal panel here onto the opposite side of the Dalek head, just here. As usual, we've got the screw holes, nice tiny inconvenient screw holes, and we'll pop the screws in there. First off, we will of course line it up and slot it into place like so. Simple. And flip it over and we will attach the screws. Et voila! As you can see, all nicely screwed in to place. Lovely job. Flip her back over and we can see the front is taking shape quite nicely. Excellent stuff. Just how we like it. So, moving on to the next bit. And we can bring in the outer shell from this week's issue for the energy dispenser and the two previous components, the casing there and of course the light bulb. And not forgetting these three very handy screws from issue 8. It just makes sense to put the two pieces on together, the energy dispenser and the panel, to make sure it's worth doing. So let's crack on. First things first, we're going to take the outer shell with the inner casing and we're going to line up the holes accordingly. The best way I've found to do this, if you take a look at this piece here, you'll see that these holes at the top and bottom here are actually slightly different sizes and correlate to these stalks just here, so we can line up the holes accordingly. If we do that, like so, you can see it sits nicely in there. Lovely job. Next up, we're going to take the light bulb, we're going to pop it in the top there, and again, what we can see is that certain holes line up to certain pegs. If we get those lined up nicely, just like so, you can see the pegs fit very nicely and the screw holes all align, like so. So we're going to pop the screws in there and move on with the next part. And voila. Here we go. Screws nicely in place. Next up, we're going to bring in the headpiece itself, and just as with the previous energy dispenser, if you take a look on the side there, we can see two little nodules there, two screw holes there, and what we should be able to do is line up these two bits with the nodules and these two bits here with the screw holes. So we'll feed the cable through the eyepiece, line up the screw holes, and it should sit very nicely indeed. And then of course, as you can see, we'll just pop the screws in these little holes here. And there we go. As you can see, the screws from issue 8 nicely in place. And there we have it. The latest upgrades. A nice shiny head coming together rather nicely. Next week, of course, we'll move on to this panel here, which we saw on the front cover of issue 8, and we'll move on to the next panel as well. That's right, I'm going to do 2 more panels, so be it. I hope you've enjoyed the build. Until next time, take care. And that just about wraps it up for us, guys. As I say, I hope you don't mind me cheating a little bit on this issue this week. I like to be able to get at least a couple of bits on at a time to make sure it's worth the effort and the watch. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed. I'll see you again next week with a couple more bits to go onto the Dalek. It's coming along nicely. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again for all your support and your comments. I really appreciate it. Like and subscribe the video. Recommend to your friends. Everybody needs a dose of Raxacorica in their life. I'll see you next week. Take care. Have a great week. Bye-bye.